is a very interesting question, to which the answer is, yes, there is a God and he's fine. Evil does not present a problem to the existence of God, because an all-loving God did not cause evil. It was caused by humans.
So, you're saying that humans should be blamed for evil?
Oh yes, it comes down to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. When Adam and Eve plucked that apple from the tree of knowledge, then they cursed us all, as we were all seminally present in Adam's loins.
So, what about natural evil?
Oh, natural evil was caused at the same point. As we committed this sin, then the earth separated itself from God, as it were, and the ground became harder to till, it became harder to grow things, the earth shook with fire mountains and all that stuff, and that was a result of natural evil as a punishment, and yeah.
Okay, so, moving on. What do you think is the nature of evil?
Oh, evil in itself is not a substance, it is actually simply a lack of good, it is a privation of good, and so it doesn't exist as a substance because all substances were created by God, and nothing evil could have been created by an all-loving God.
Okay, so in accordance with your story of the fall, how then would you explain the existence of suffering?
Oh, well, it's as a punishment, as I said. It's a punishment from, well, not created by God, because that's not what I said, but it's a punishment taking away the goodness from humans, taking away the paradise which was the Garden of Eden into an imperfect, well, not imperfect, but a world which included suffering.
Okay, so as well as having the explanation for the existence of evil, do you have anything else you wish to add?
Oh, well, I would say that God's belief, that everything that happens in the world is predetermined by God. He both causes it and knows what is going to happen. And and also the principle of plenitude, which basically means, it links to the last one, that everything that can happen will happen in this very diverse world, and that is the best thing that could happen as the world. The world in itself is the best that the world could be, as a world which includes suffering is an improvement to one which doesn't, as it gives humans a consequence for their actions.
Okay,
which is my idea of the aesthetics argument, which is all in my book, which you should buy. Defensive good, yeah, well.
Okay, well, thanks for the plug. Next up we have Aquinas, who has developed on certain parts of Augustine Theodicy. Hello, Aquinas.
Hello. Yes, I developed a theodicy along the same lines as Augustine. Differences between the two being a little more than, refinements here and there. Like you, for example, I emphasise the nature of sin as a privatation or absence of good, rather than something you might actually find somewhere. And I trace all evil back to sin and the punishment of sin and the fall in Adam and Eve, which is an essential requirement of God's justice. And I'm keen to point out that although in his omniscience, God knew when he created the world that sin would be committed, he did not in any sense determine what was to happen. Interestingly, I acknowledge that God could have created a better universe than ours, but had he done so, it would have been a different universe, and no longer one we know to be this one. So yeah, those are my little refinements.
Thanks, Aquinas. That's it, really.
Can I just ask a follow-up question? Just you mentioned the aesthetics argument. What is the aesthetics argument?
You ask that because you're the interviewer. Got to keep in the role.
What is the aesthetics argument?
Oh well, the aesthetics argument says that the world is the best that it can be, and good is all, and suffering is always worth. In the long run, it's worth it. It causes a greater good in the end, and that is the reason why the world is the best that the world can be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there possibly an analogy that could illustrate the point?
Probably, maybe, yeah. Yeah, which
The original was much better.
yeah,
You're not being
the
whacked.
scorpion's poison, it's evil from the human's point of view, but not from... yeah. Well, we would call, say, a scorpion's poison evil from our point of view, but it would not be evil from the scorpion's point of view in the same way that we would say something is evil. Well, we would say something is evil from our point of view, whereas from God's it is not. So the human's point of view of evil is very limited.
Yes.
Is that your point?
Okay, right, thank you very much.
I just saw the word scorpion and I was like, what the heck is that?
That was the